I used to be in demand.
No.
That's it. We're good.
Uh-huh. Where did those nice tulips come from?
What's the background on the computer?
Okay, yes. Okay. But on that note, it is January 14th and actually a month away from February 14th. And while that is a significant date internationally, it is also a significant date for East Ferris because it is the East Ferris Carnival. So I know we have a resolution this evening to declare that as a special event for our municipality, but yeah, so it's only a month away. So that's all very good. So we will move forward with the adoption of the agenda.
So move in a seconder, please. Councilor Champagne, Councilor Foley. That the draft agenda presented to council and dated the 14th day of January 2025 be adopted as prepared.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Accepting the minutes of the previous meetings.
Move in a seconder, please. Councilor Trahan, Deputy Mayor Rivers. The minutes of the regular council meeting of December 10th, 2024 and the special council meeting of December 17th, 2024 be adopted as circulated.
All in favor? Yvonne, carried. Thank you so much. And any business arising from the minutes? There have been none. Any declarations of conflict of interest?
There's no conflict.
Wait.
Yeah, Randy Champagne,
Oh, wait.
Randy Linda Champagne.
Yes, yes.
So I logged it. Yeah. I'll fill in the sheet there. Just.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Which is item D. 12D.
Announcements and updates from council members, if there are any. On this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, council members, some of the members of council will make their way to Toronto for the annual conference of the Rural Ontario Municipal Association. At this point, we anticipate participating in 2 delegations and potentially a third one, and our CEO will brief us on that a little later on this evening under other business. Committee reports, Public Works and Infrastructure Committee.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the elephant in the room. I'm gonna talk about the issue that we had with the dump, the pickup, with the recycling and garbage last week. I'm glad that, you know, we stepped up to the plate and did the cleanup properly. And I still feel very strongly about our contractor, the way they basically treated us and themselves, by giving us the information that we needed.
Right.
And it's not fair for our ratepayers to, you know, go through social media to get something across. They should have contacted us. Proper channels should have been taken care of, even though it is the holidays. And it looked terrible there for that almost a week and a half. So really glad the staff, Jason, you pulled up and got the staff to pick up all the recycling, and that was it would have been a nightmare if we didn't do that. So thank you for that. But again, hopefully we'll talk about this, I guess, the Public Works, the new tender coming up. I'm sure. And then and I'm sure you made the chopping block work along. So thank you for that, Jason.
Those are good remarks because it was certainly so any further comments on it?
It only cost me some Gatorade. I made sure the guys were hydrated. I went out and delivered some Gatorade to the guys.
Yeah, it was a lot more work, I suspect, than we realized.
It was. Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's hard work.
Yeah. And the again, I just echo Councillor Champagne. So the guys did a great job and they knew what was going on and they stepped up to the plate to them to help out the residents of the municipality. So that's, you know what, that's aces, right?
Most crucial thing is that you can't just change times at your whim.
Yeah, correct.
You have to be notified, and it's just not right.
Well said. Excellent comment. Any further comments on moving forward, emergency management program?
Committee, we meet tomorrow. And so we will have an update for our next
Council meeting on this. Fire and Emergency Services Committee,
Sweet.
there's one next week. Yeah, there's, okay, excellent. Planning Advisory Committee,
Same next week.
next week. Committee of Adjustment as well next
Same
week.
as well.
Recreation, Parks and Culture Committee, I guess that's next week as well, right? January 21st, yeah.
this week. Striking Committee, none. Library Board, the minutes are included. Any comments, Deputy Mayor Riapers?
Yeah, so we're just going through our budget right now, so we've got a couple meetings that we've planned to get that ready. The volunteer portal is really successful. They've had lots of people looking at it and they have something like 35 hours that have been planned through that portal, so it's very successful. And we're reviewing, I had something, and Jennifer is on top of training and orientating the volunteers. So she's been doing a great job with that. So that's part of the new website, lots of new additions to the website. There's the Library of Things, and we have a counter on the Library of Things. There's also suggestion portals. So if anybody has any suggestions or wants anything to be added to our library, there's a portal that they can look at and put in their input. We also have 12 days of Christmas giveaway was very successful. It was really, they did a great job. They've purchased 3 new computers and a Bluetooth printer. So that's to support the community, promoting local artists and improved display area. So that's been very successful and they've been posting with the artists' contributions. So she was also mentioning that local community groups are booking their rooms at a higher frequency. So it's really becoming a big hub, right? An important place for people to meet and get resources. And we have done the CEO performance and appraisal, and that was completed. Again, from last time, it's not signed due to the chair was attending by Zoom. So she was sick, so she attended by Zoom, so she hasn't had a chance to sign the minutes at this time. So she's going to get to that when she's better and in person. So.
Excellent report, yes. Any questions or comments?
The 3 computers, was that a budget item or is that a item that came out of the special account donations?
Yeah, there was donations last year and there was a reserve that we had and the computers were old and they were duct taping them together and it was taking a lot of time for them to sort of fix them. So we approved for them to buy 3 new ones.
Yeah, anything for 3 years anyways, the computers are done anyway.
Right.
So,
Oh my gosh,
And I think they had brought it forward to it, the budget section.
that the reserve would be used.
yes,
Computer
yes,
equipment. Yeah,
that's right. And I was just wanting to know because it looked like this was out of the
okay,
ordinary budget. So just kind of making sure.
sure. Yes, no, that's a good question, for sure. Okay, then we move forward to the OPP Detachment Board. So we did have a meeting of the Police Services Board, the 3 communities together to select our community representative. We did get applications. Actually, we had 4 applications and they were all applications. But certainly the candidate that was selected and is brought forward this evening for approval. So this is going to be brought to each of the municipality. So Chisholm, Bonfield and us. It is Brian Lynn, who is a successful candidate. And very much that's because Brian brings 11 years working as the auxiliary staff sergeant with the Paris Police Services. And so, but in addition to a very strong resume in risk management and a lot of other fields. And so, this evening we have a resolution to name him as the community services representative. I must admit, we are also looking for a provincial appointee to the Police Services Board. And I know that we now have 2 applicants, and I don't think it's yet closed either, right? Correct? It's still open. And so what we've been doing is that we want to encourage people to apply to that position and to represent the province on our Police Services Board. So we've passed the word along to a few people. If you know of others, this would be the time to do so, because we do want to have a complete Police Services Board. So I would take any questions, I guess, before we put forward the resolution.
Yes, in the resolutions for the new person that,
To name, yes.
okay.
Brian. That being said, let's move forward then with the resolution.
Gonna move Verna, second. Councillor Champagne, Deputy Mayor Roy-Akers. Whereas the Lake Nosbonsing OPP Detachment Board Community Representative Advisory Committee at its meeting of December 16th, 2024, reviewed the applications for the community representative vacancy. And whereas, as per the Community Safety and Policing Act 2019, the successful applicant must be jointly appointed by all 3 member municipalities. And whereas the committee recommends to council for the municipality of East Ferris that Brian Lynn be appointed to the Lake Nosbonsing OPP Detachment Board as the community member who is neither a member of the council or an employee of any of the above municipalities jointly appointed by all municipalities. And whereas this appointment shall be for the remaining 2022-2026 term of council, now therefore be it resolved that council approves this recommendation.
All in favor?
It's all carried. Thank you so much. We'll move forward now to reports by what we call ABCs, agencies, boards, and ABC.
ABC Board Commission.
Thank you. Okay. And so basically first on the list is Castle Home, and I will just comment on Castle Home. There was a meeting that had been planned prior to Christmas. It's going to be rescheduled. It hasn't been rescheduled yet. But I must admit that when we had the budget deliberations with the officials from the Ministry of Finance, most of the municipalities were present and did speak on this particular issue of Castle Home. And I do believe this matter went back to the Board of Directors of Castle Home afterwards for further discussion. So I suspect they may be taking all of that into account and seeing what is might be the next step. So that's certainly something that is to follow. And on that note, that's it for my comment on Castle Home. I turn it over to others. You may have noticed now that Madam Clerk, she's added the minutes. She's encouraging us each time to go and look at the minutes because we don't always carry all of the minutes in our packages. And someone might say, well, how come you've carried those of the health unit, but not those of maybe another organization? And so it is our responsibility to go on these websites where they're posted and to look at the minutes as part of our work as well in preparing for council. So thank you for doing that.
And there's a link to the minutes on our agenda now.
Oh, okay, so it's online now, the link, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Thank you so much. I didn't know that.
If I may, it's not a link to, it's just like with the previous, instead of basically being under correspondence, we now just have it under
PDF.
The PDFs, okay. Okay, perfect, yes.
So what I'll do, the clerk's department, what they're gonna do is keep an eye on the ABC website.
Right,
And as new meetings happen or special meetings happen, then they'll bring forward what, like from this meeting to the next meeting, whatever happened in between, they'll bring forward the minutes.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth for those ABCs.
okay, because there are citizens that go to our website to look for information on ABCs. And part of that too as well, we noted that one in particular, one ABC, their minutes weren't up to date. And so, I mean, that's important, you know, we work hard to keep the minutes up to date. They should also have their minutes up to date. So we're hoping that it will also have that impact of all working together to make sure that we have current information for citizens. And so,
Maybe we should change it instead of ABCs, have more like core services and then list them and then have PDFs.
yes,
Just a thought,
so when you say core services,
core services.
yes, these are, yeah, so people understand.
ABCs, because I've tried to explain ABCs, but it seems more of a,
Yeah, like a children's ABC.
yeah,
But you know what, they, like, for example, I believe the city of North Bay refers them to their partners. Because they are our partners in delivery of service. I mean, it could be a better term to use for that section, our part, because we look to them to deliver certain services that we don't, right? That's why we did.
Even something along the lines of maybe external partners or something, because
External, yes.
when you look above, it's got like board reports, it's got our library, OPP, which is more internal, I would say.
External board.
Their external boards are,
they're attached to the municipalities every day.
yeah,
So
Yes.
I think ABCs is kind of a word that, or an acronym that we should be putting off to the side and kind of going with something a little different. But anyway, just for whatever.
Exactly, no, oh, absolutely. I think we would all agree, right, that that's a good recommendation.
I think more descriptive.
More descriptive, yes, exactly. Than ABC. So I won't get tripped up on C's anymore.
There goes the song.
But no, excellent recommendation. So that is the purpose of all of this, is to demonstrate that they are part of the municipality. Their minutes are included, and now we'll have the proper name to highlight that section of our minutes. So we, Councillor Kelly.
A comment about Castle Home. It went from 92 million to 120 odd million in a very, very short time. There were only two bidders. One had no experience, and so they were
Set aside.
off the list, and so there was only one bidder. And now they're come back because some of the loans are variable, and when everything went haywire with the cost of living, all of a sudden, there's a lot of municipalities in dire straits because of the increase. Because this is an unplanned for increase. And it's, well, Jason, where's it go down for us? It's next 6 years, 5 years, or 10 years?
just interest only.
Just the interest only.
So until they debenture, like until the project's done, which we know the project's a year late. So I'm thinking, thought the original date for debenture was 2027.
Yes,
It's likely 2028. But what's happening now is the budget they've put aside for construction interest, they've used. So now they've got to levy us starting this year. We've not seen anything yet, but they got to levy us for capital interest basically
yes.
until the debentures. And the last figure we had received was about $301,000.
For us, that's all.
So, but from, as of now, we haven't received their 2025 operating levy or a capital levy. We have no info.
Right. So this is a big deal.
Financial license between us and North Bay, they got a bigger.
Oh, it's a big issue for the city of North Bay.
Yeah, North Bay is 80%. We're about 7.65. So between the two of us, North Bay and us, we're about 87%, right? 88%.
Exactly. You know, I mean,
We're the top payers,
this is
top payers.
a deal breaker.
Sort of the other issue that's before us on this file is the whole file of Castle Arms. And I mean, there was lots of activity there before Christmas. We saw that the board let their CEO, or not the CEO, but the chair of the board was our councillor, a member director on the
Dismissed.
board of directors of Castle Arms was let go. And so there's been a lot of commotion there. And there was a letter that was issued as well by Castle Arms staff that was completely incorrect. We've countered these issues. So we've worked behind the scene to say, you know, hoping to see resolution on that matter, because that's a substantial asset that one day, when it will be mortgage free, can be used for equity purposes in support of Castle Home. So there's no way, absolutely no way that we let that pass, but it's a matter of trying to, correct what has occurred and doing it in a proper manner. But certainly that's before us, and we're not letting that piece go. That's a big piece. That's wrong. What occurs there.
There's more questions than answers so far.
Well, there's certainly answers, but there's, so.
You've also muddying the water, you also a management company in there as well.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So There's a lot of sticks in the fire.
Lots of, yeah, so, I'm hoping that 2025 will be a year with resolution on some, especially the Castle Arms, because it's dragged on now for, well, certainly the whole last year.
Yep.
And it may mean legal action, but at this point, we're hopeful that there may be some resolution.
Nice to get it resolved in our favor.
Yes, and the citizens,
Financially.
this is an asset that belongs to the communities, that belongs to all the communities that got together to fund Castle Home, and so it's, yeah, it needs to be rectified. Any further comments on, so now moving forward, then we come to DSAB, health, I know the health unit, I think there's some of these items that are part of our correspondence, but if any of you would like to make any comments, now would be the time to do so.
So I did notice on, because some people came to me and asked me about the South Shore dry hydrants and said, what is going on there? And so I said, it's the dry hydrant. With the North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority, there's 2 permits on there about dry hydrants. And it's for Big Moose and for McPherson.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So, right, so just so people are aware that that's, right?
Yes, so one's been approved and one's in. It's the South Shore.
South Shore's in.
Yeah.
Then Big
We ran out of
Moose.
time. We ran, remember we
Right.
talked about that?
Yeah,
And we were about the September 15th, we ran out of time?
right,
Right.
right. So Big Moose will go in this summer.
Yeah.
And then.
If everything goes well with the works
And budget.
and budget and.
Okay. Okay.
So there's,
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
just to give you a little reminder, yeah, so there's a
There's
few,
some moving
a few
parts.
vehicles we have to park and make sure they're online to make sure everything's full. But I'm very optimistic and that's gonna be a goal for sure.
So I think we put in all of our permits requests at the same time.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
I'll tell you though, when you watch what's occurred in other places in
the United States and California, it's incredible how so important these issues, that it reminds us of the importance of, you know, all these matters and hydrants and dry hydrants and so it's a good question to ask because it's upmost and for me as well. I mean, I watch that and I think, okay, from these guys, are we well protected? You know, I think that way and I'm sure others do. So it's a good question, good discussion to have brought forward, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, no. We got Mattawa Conservation meeting tomorrow, so.
Okay, oh, yes, okay, so. Perfect. Any further comments?
Well, you got minutes from the health,
Unit.
but I talked about that in December already. The 2 items are on there. One was the, we had a meeting that we all acknowledged our own reading of the
Land acknowledgement.
acknowledgement, yeah. And the other one was we did the appraisal for the medical officer health. So that was concluded back in December, so. And I had talked about that, which is nothing new yet, I mean, you've seen it, been here. But we do have a if you believe tomorrow, we have a delegation coming up next Monday for the health minute. And we're gonna be there representing ourselves on the shortfall that we're forecasting for the municipalities. Yeah, more downloads.
On that note, then we move forward to departmental reports. There being none. We move forward to notice of motions, there being none, we go to bylaws, and there's quite a few. And I think we'll turn it over to you, Mr. Trustee. Do you want to just maybe proceed with Madam Clerk, putting them forward?
Sure.
And okay, and then if there's any that you'd like to maybe touch on, otherwise we'll just proceed through. Okay.
Okay.
Mover and a second for the first one on the list. Councillor Kelly and Councillor Trans. Whereas Council for the Municipality of East Ferris deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session. Be it resolved that a bylaw to levy interim tax rates and charges be read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered 2025-01. And that said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk and sealed with the seal of corporation.
So this is always an annual bylaw that comes forward All in favor? Bon. Carried. One.
Bring a seconder, please. Councillor Champagne, Councillor Trahan. Whereas Council for the Municipality of East Ferris deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session. Be it hereby resolved that a bylaw to authorize temporary borrowing from time to time to meet current expenditures during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2025, be read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered 2025-02, and that said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation.
Any comments or questions on this? All in favor? Bon, carried. Next one.
Bring a seconder, please. Sir Kelly, Deputy Mayor Roy Akers. Whereas Council for the Municipality of East Ferris deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session. Be it hereby resolved that a bylaw to set 2025 tax ratios for prescribed property classes be read a first, second, and third time, numbered 2025-03, and that said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation.
All in favor? C'est bon, carried. Thank you so much. So the next bylaw we'll table and then we'll ask Mr. Trustee just to say a word.
Sure.
Bring a seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Roy Akers and Councillor Champagne. Whereas Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of East Ferris deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session, be it hereby resolved that a bylaw to authorize the purchase of land at 31 Champagne Road. Okay, sorry, we can.
That's right. Again, Louise.
Did you stop? Did you second that? Point of order?
I
Yes.
thought you were talking about.
Point of order.
Sorry, I thought you were doing the bylaw.
No, we're on D.
We're on D now.
Okay, I was gonna ask a question about the tax rate ratio.
Oh.
What per 100,000, what does that work out to?
We won't know that till budget's passed. We do tax rates.
Okay, but I was waiting for it.
Okay. So moved by Deputy Mayor Roy Akers, seconded by Councillor Trahan. Whereas Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of East Ferris deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session. It hereby resolved that a bylaw to authorize the purchase of land at 31 Champagne Road from Renee and Linda Champagne be read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered 2025-04, and that said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation.
Any comments? Yes, we had said you were.
Sure, just high level, it's been several months now. We negotiated with Renee and Linda to look to purchase land, which we would have to sever off their portion of land. They're situated at 31 Champagne Road, but their property extends down Corbeil Road. So the portion that we purchased is about 7 acres. It's 90 meters of frontage on Corbeil by about 320 meters deep, which gives us about 7 acres. So we would actually enter from Corbeil Road. The purpose of the land is to purchase land for future construction of a new fire hall and training facility. As part of the negotiations, we negotiated a purchase price of $160,000. We would assume all costs in terms of legals for the buyer and the seller. On top of that, we've got a few conditions that need to be met first. So we're gonna have soil testing done to ensure that the lands can support the construction of such a facility. We do know that there is other lands down Corbeil that, you know, based on past usage of the properties that, you know, there may be issues in supporting that size facility. On top of that, we're gonna be responsible for surveying costs. And then as well, we've got costs for, let me just take a peek here. We did the soil testing we spoke about, surveying, and then the legal fees. As well, we're responsible for rezoning the property. So we've got to have it rezoned. All these conditions have to be met before July 15, 2025. So now what we're gonna have is Greg do the rezoning process. So all of that has to be successful prior to July 15th, so we can sign on the dotted line and be done with the purchase.
Compound too, so responsible for the compound.
Yes, so as part of the agreement as well, when we start construction, we're supposed to fence in the portion prior to construction because there's still access from the neighbor's property to Rennie and Linda's for cattle. So prior to construction, we've got to put up fencing for our section of the property. So the perimeter of the property, basically. So, yeah.
Any further questions, comments? Wait, Councilor Cannon?
I just want to say this was actually a really good purchase for the municipality for growth and for moving forward. And as we know, it's tough to purchase land, mostly in your own backyard, we'll say. So in saying this, the purchase on 31
Or Bill?
Road, thank you. It's going to be a good thing for the residents, and it's a long time that we have ever saw an erecting a fire hall. So yeah, it's going to be good. So it's good, another good success story for the municipality, and it shows growth, and it shows that we're here for the protection and security protection for the residents of East Ferris. So.
I simply want to mention, I know Councillor Champagne stepped out and he did indicate a conflict of interest, but actually, it's just because it's his relatives. But the municipality has been searching for land for a fire hall for now the last few years. And we had looked at different properties. They're not large enough. We can't get access onto the road if they're on Highway 94. So there's been a number of properties that have been examined. We had an architect involved in giving us advice on various, from a building perspective. And so just want to make sure that that's completely understand. This is a complete council municipal initiative with staff driven. And so it's simply here the matter of the relative.
Exactly, that's good, because it took us a while, and then
Yes.
it wasn't the first, the first thing that we saw in the shopping window that we're buying. So how to do some research, and so that's good.
C'est bon. So on that note, all in favor? C'est bon, thank you so much. We'll move forward then to the next bylaw.
I'm gonna move Brenda second. And Councillor Champagne. Whereas council for the municipality of East Ferris deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session, be it hereby resolved that a bylaw to authorize an agreement between the corporation of the municipality of East Ferris and His Majesty the King in Right of Ontario, as representative by the Office of the Fire Marshal, be read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered 2025-05, and that said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation.
Want to say a quick word on the
Sure, I
grant?
can, yep.
Yes.
This grant came forward to the municipality, and we were basically told if you apply, you're gonna get some money. Your allocation is gonna be based on how many applicants or applications we receive. They were basically looking at the total number of fire halls and divvying up the money per, I would say, per hall or per capita. Our allocation is $16,460.90. The fund was brought forward from the province, basically for cancer prevention measures. So in terms of purchasing equipment or PPE, minor infrastructure changes to a hall, such as showers. And then, anyway, we've got that money. We've got to commit to spending it by March 31st of this year, which commitment means we put it in a budget, and then we're committed to go ahead with the purchases. We've got to spend the money by December 31st of 2025. So for us, the funding request to provide and maintain clean in-service personal protective equipment for all active firefighters. And as part of the application, we said we're looking to purchase like a second hood for every member of the department, helmet liners and gloves. So that's what the fund is for.
Any further questions or comments? All in favor? The vote carries. Thank you, and good work by those that completed the application. So on that note, we move to the next one. Next
Brenda
bylaw.
seconder, please. Councillor Trahan and Councillor Kelly. Whereas council for the municipality of East Ferris deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session, be it hereby resolved that a bylaw to appoint community emergency management coordinators, chairs, and information officers be read a first, second, and third time, passed in number 2025-06. That said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Yvonne, thank you so much. And then the final one.
Okay, Greg is on his way in case anyone has questions, but for now, can we get Brenda secondary?
I can speak to it.
Oh, okay. Councillor Trahan and Councillor Champagne. Whereas council for the municipality of East Ferris deems it expedient to pass 3 readings of the following bylaw at this session. It hereby resolved that a bylaw to amend bylaw 2021-60, Barbara Breo. Road. 2667 Highway 17 East, as amended, be read a first, second, and third time, copy number 2025-07. And that said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk and sealed with the seal of the corporation.
I was gonna say a few words, but Greg's here, he can say a few words.
Sure, thanks. Perfect timing, I guess. But this bylaw, so this is follow up on a resolution that council passed in 2021. It also went to the planning advisory committee. At the time, the planning advisory committee recommended approval. Council passed a recommendation or a resolution agreeing with that recommendation. In the time between council passing the resolution for approval and the bylaw returning to council, we were contacted by the Ministry of Transportation with a number of issues with the site. So ultimately what we ended up doing was holding off bringing the bylaw to council so that the applicant could work through their issues with the MTO. So they needed to get land use permits from the MTO. They needed to conduct a traffic study just because of the entrance classification being changed to commercial. There are a couple other small administrative things, but they have now done all that. So they've submitted their traffic study to the MTO. The MTO has accepted the recommendations from the traffic study and they're moving on to their permitting. The MTO has advised that they want the municipality to pass the zoning bylaw before they'll issue the permit. So that's why it's coming back before you now.
Wait, Councillor Champagne?
What stipulations they put on there, the MTO, as far as turning lanes and permits of traffic, have they done all that?
Yeah, they've done all that. So that was part of the recommendation. So they have, it's a combination of new painting on the road, basically indicating that there's a left turn in the passing lane. And then signage, I believe there's 300 meters back from the point of turn-in. And I think it's one of those situations where the sign says, left turning vehicles in the center lane, and it would just advise motorists to stay right if they're going through.
So at the end of the day, is that there's no responsibility on us. Once we just pass, we change the designation, but the MTO is taking responsibility saying they're allowing this to happen. Is this correct, or is this we?
No, that's correct.
Okay, so if something happens next, it's not on us, it's on them.
That's right. It's a highway. Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Okay, all in favor? Did we, Ford says we did. Okay, sorry, just making sure. Oh, you have a question? No. All in favor, okay. Oh, thank you so much, thank you. Yes. Okay, we come to correspondence.
And information items.
Deputy Mayor.
I guess. H, the DSAP and the municipal housing targets for municipality of East Ferris. And the number, is it L? L. The Northern Ontario Women's Caucus. Request for resignation of MPP Michael Neal.
Now, I'd like to touch on the DSAB item, if I may. I could do, would you like, take it, that'd be all right. And certainly you've received there was one document, one sheet that included, it's from a report that was completed by DSAB. It's done on a regular, it's been done historically differently, but it sets targets. And so,
Are you on this, the first one or second one? Sorry.
the DSAB, oh,
H. 13H.
Oh, but there's two.
What document?
it's 13H.
H.
The first document that's attached or the second document?
Yes.
The second document.
Second document? Okay,
With the chart.
Oh, I see, yeah, the chart.
because there's two reports.
Yeah, no, I see, one. Well, one is they highlight the fact that they've done this report. I mean, the report has 200 pages about it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a fairly detailed report with lots of information, but we have one page there that's dedicated to us, and we won't necessarily go through it tonight, but what I'd like to suggest is the following. In this report, they highlight what's very interesting. They make a projection for our growth that in 10 years, 2035, we will be at 6,028 population will have grown to 6,028. So that's basically the forecast that they're making and that they've included. And that's, you'll see that in the, if you look at it on that, basically the top there, right there, that the population projection by the DSAB. And the reason that's important is because for any housing funding support for different initiatives that comes through DSAB, they will be working with these numbers. And so that's a good projection for us. And but certainly with that comes issues for us. And we know these issues are there already, and we don't feel they've been resolved. I think that would be a fair statement. One is daycare. We continue to be very concerned. We continue to have incidents in our community that are completely unacceptable. People can't find, they move here, you know, are very happy to be here in this community. There's two great schools, but then they can't find daycare. And it's horrible, the situations that parents go through. And it's no longer acceptable. I think we really have, this is something we had raised before and we want to further raise. And we'd like to bring it forward to the DSAB Board of Directors to highlight how this is a concern for us as we attract young families. The other element in this report that's troubling for our community as well is the affordable housing target. So they include in this report the existing stock, that their stock as they consider it, because our seniors villas, they form part of the DSAB affordable housing inventory. But the wait lists that they've included don't. And so basically they're saying we have no wait list, no need for affordable housing in our community. And it's like, we're not part of it. But the seniors villas, we know, right? I mean, when this report was done, the wait list was at 66 people, but there's no vacancy. And that information is not part of this report. So that's completely unacceptable for our community that not form part of this report. And the reason it really bothered me is because it went in the press. There were, I don't know, last week, if you heard the news, you know, they were saying there's need for housing in Bonfield, in North Bay, in West Nipissing. But where was East Ferris? We're not there. And so when you look at the report, you're not there because the information is not completely not accurate. So I feel that there's elements like that, and there may be others. But I think the time has come for us to ask for a delegation, us as a council, to the DSAB board. And I think Councillor Kelly has felt that this is now the time for us to go forth and to speak on our needs from a DSAB perspective. And there may be others, I'm just putting these out forward, but it's specifically tied to this report. I encourage you to go read it, to compare with the other communities, the growth rates, and look at that. Certainly it's interesting information. But look at it from the perspective of East Ferris and what it will mean for us. The reason I am concerned as well, because they say that for funding for affordable housing, it will be determined based on the wait lists and based on growth projections. So if we're not on the wait list, if we don't have that information part of that, we're not a candidate for affordable housing funding, and that's not correct. So I'd like to see that corrected. And maybe I interpret the information wrong and all of that, but I feel that the time has come for us to speak on this.
I've said that
Right.
because I read it and I disagree on some of the information.
Good.
Not to go too deep here, but there's, I don't know who's the consultant that did this or where they get this information or if they contacted the municipality or I don't know. And that's where we don't know as counselors unless somebody else knows. But
Sessions with the.
so there's some information here that's not correct and I got some issues with it, but anyway, I'm glad you said that, I mean. Okay, good.
Pass it on, whatever you find that's not right, you could pass it on to us.
Yeah, if I may, Mayor Rochford, like when we had our session with them, it wasn't, hey, how many households do you have or population or it was just a general, these are the services provided by DSAB in your community, like childcare and that. What are your issues? What are some, so we got a deep dive into that. A problem I have with looking at this as well is when you start looking at population households, you're looking at actual data from 2021. We're now getting into 25, but this was a 2024 report. Like I look at the households for 2021, 1,890. Well, we have 2,246 households in our property count from the OPP, which is what they base billing and everything on, that they get from MPAC. So why are they using StatsCan data when you can get up-to-date data from MPAC? Now they're saying we're going to go from 1,890 households to 2,461, 2.2% change. But I mean, we're at 2,246. So if they actually use the MPAC data from 2024, are we still going to 2,461 or are we going to 2,600? without going through 200 pages or whatever, I'm not sure the background of data. And garbage in is garbage out. So I'm not, unless I deep dive into it to see, I'm not sure, right?
Yeah, and this RTI units, Harry, I think that's, I don't know where they got their information on that. So
We don't have any rent geared to income units in.
okay, so where's that information go?
That's exactly, make up.
5.5%. I mean, unless
I'm
I'm unaware of any rent geared to income.
Well, our senior housing
It's
was geared,
affordable housing.
it was geared income at the beginning, wasn't it?
No, never has
Never
been.
has been.
It's affordable housing, so that's the distinction, but
but at the same time, there may have been some homes created that we're unaware of.
and I mean,
But, yeah, so it's there, so potentially, but we're unaware.
Yeah.
It's a consultancy report. And when you look in the future, it's crystal ball. Okay, I think this was a little opaque compared to most crystal balls, but that's just my opinion. East Ferris, pardon me, in our area, East Ferris is an anomaly. East Ferris mean individual household income is 15% above the provincial average. And in case of public knowledge, Mattawa is 15 to 20% lower than the mean average. We are head and shoulders financially, according to all stats, ahead of the rest of the area. That includes all the municipalities making up the district's social services pool. So when it comes to projecting our growth, it's really someone threw a dart at a dartboard.
And sorry, I get you, and I get what you're saying, Councilor Kelly. My issue is that this is a consultant document. Somebody paid for this document. It's going to be published in probably some sort of a book, and it's going to get sent out, whatever, how, and governments are going to get a hold of it. So this may hurt us if down the road, like you were saying, for different funding. So this is where I get my quills up a little bit, because this is not actual factual. So,
back to you.
And speaking to that, it's very important when East Ferris has a delegation to a minister.
yes, and then
We bring our CAO with actual facts, because that's the only thing that works. Because as they say, the past figures are not correct, which means that the extrapolation is incorrect as well.
Right.
And we know with the growth from our planning committee, the growth we've seen in the last 2 years, which is phenomenal. We're going to be a lot more than this anticipated growth. By all the signs that say it, as long as they can find people to put up houses. Because that's the only thing holding us back right now.
It's well said, Councilor Kelly, and I mean, certainly to your point, they do make that comment about us having the highest average household income. But I mean, when we met with, the consultants did meet with the municipality and they met with builders in our community. They met, so they did do some work and they did have interactions with various people. But certainly, I mean, the fact that we have, maybe from a financial perspective, a healthy community, doesn't mean we don't have issues. And so, I mean, when we met with the consultants, we spoke of the old school and how it's been purchased by, and that is for us a big issue in our community. We want that fixed. We need their support for that because it is housing that's planned for that building. So that, I mean, we made a point, and I recall, and it's private. And so there is a need, they do work with private organizations, and they have in the past. And there are ways that they can go around that. They can also advocate. There's, the world of possibilities is broad there, but they need to make sure that that's a priority and it doesn't come out in here. And we just spoke about daycare. It doesn't matter, whether your income level, you need help with children, and we have a major issue in our community. We need help with children, and so I find that is like it's as if we don't need any assistance, and I don't find that that's a correct observation. That said, there's a lot of good information. I mean, just because we get a report, there is lots of good information in it, but we want to ensure that it reflects what our needs are, and it doesn't reflect what the discussion we had, I feel, with the consultants. Yes.
In addition to that, when you talk about affordable housing, and this is what the DSAP board on numerous occasions, without government involvement, it's hard to say to a developer, You've got land, you've got room for 20 houses. If you're making 10 to 20% on each house, what are you putting up? $300,000 house, which is affordable, or a $700,000 or $800,000 house, or $1.5 million? It's basic math. So without government intervention and involvement financially, it's hard to tell any developer, you can't put up a house that's worth 800,000, you have to start putting up smaller houses.
Yeah, but you want to go deeper, it's like, well, which lumber store are you gonna use? Because their 2x4 is 20 cents cheaper, so you have to go use them. Like, there's so much murky
And
water.
we're talking about private ownership.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and that is the basic problem. The other thing is, what's affordable, and then if it's not if it is affordable, do you have transportation? Because we don't have a transportation system in the rural communities. And that is one of the handcuffs that we have. For anyone moving in, you have to have your own transportation. So, but there again, you get back to the economics of our area. And right now, so so I'm thinking,
Well, I was actually thinking, Councillor Kelly, do you see a reason why they would not support a request for delegation for the Board of,
okay, so getting to that and the DSAB involvement, we're talking about the villas now, basically.
no, specifically,
Well,
to be a council,
Then-
you request a delegation
Okay, so-
from council municipality of East.
My understanding was, and wasn't to do with another area, another municipality, that there's a methodology to delegations. So if our staff call and ask for delegation, they were given, I asked for instructions to be given to how the process plays out. Now, if that doesn't take place, give me a call and I can call myself, but, or I'll be involved, I'll come over into your office, Jason, but there's a process for delegations to come forward. Now, there's informal comments made at board meetings, but this is a formal request. Because this is two or three now, three different occasions I can think of where we haven't got a straight, direct answer. And I know we asked for involvement when I was observing, and all that somebody came forward with was the documents, the loan documents. Not what we asked for, not what the board at the time asked for. So, and as far as DSAB's involvement with private industry, what they basically try to do is mention what grants are available. Because the grant process alone is a separate elephant all on its own. And a lot of larger municipalities have their own individuals. That's all they do is make applications. I know we have an individual who does it on a part-time basis. Because it's a different world unto itself.
Sure, yeah.
So, but I'd like a straight answer from the district social services staff if there's a request for delegation.
Yeah, so I think we have a copy of that. So we're good to go to make that request. And so if whatever you can do on the inside to ensure
No problem.
that it's not denied and that would be great. For- We, Deputy Mayor.
So if we go for a delegation, we find like, and we're giving you information saying we don't agree with this in the document, do this in the document. Can we ask for an amendment to this document to say, can this information be corrected so that it's positive or it is reflecting in East Terrace needs?
Yes, precisely.
Would that be possible? I don't know.
Retract, or I guess they call it, or amend. Yes, retract or amend, I think, yeah,
Amend.
I think that's a good comment, yes. Precisely. Okay, yes, I agree with you. That's a good point. Thank you. And I apologize I took so much time on this issue.
No, it's important. It's important.
Okay.
Definitely.
Let's just pass a resolution to saying that council directs staff to treat a delegation to the District of Medicine Social Services Board.
Now it's hot.
It is.
Hot?
Oh, yeah.
Noticing my cheeks getting red, red. Meeting's going on. That's gonna blow up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Air on.
Put in the air conditioner. It's warm.
We'll have to give Carrie all of our coats.
So we're going to vote on this now?
Yes, can I get a mover and a seconder, please?
And then we'll-
That's the mayor's room.
There is a contact name for this thing. There is a contact name,
For that, okay, yes, gotcha.
staff to know.
Yeah. So we have the forms for the delegation. Okay, please put this in.
That council directs staff to seek a delegation to the District of Nipissing Social Services Board in regards to the Housing Targets Report and services to East Ferris.
All in favor? You're all carried. Thank you so much. Now we move to
It was moved by Councillor Kelly and Deputy Mayor Royer.
I didn't.
Ms. Item L, do you want to touch on that? Deputy Mayor?
I
Wait,
do like number I as well, but I was gonna leave that for,
Councillor Kelly, yeah.
if that's okay. So this is from the Northern Ontario Women's Caucus. This is for the resignation of MPP Michael Magda from the Algoma Manitoulin riding. So there was an independent investigator that substantiated claims of sexual assault by one of his or from him to his complainant. And so he was, from this report, he was ousted from Marriott Style and the NDP caucus. Now, this is being passed around by different organizations and also and one being the NDP Riding Association and also other municipalities. So it is a request for him to resign. He is right now independent in the Ontario. Yeah.
So a question, where does it stand? Like he's been removed from caucus from the NDP, but any of these other, I don't know the whole story. I know what I've heard, but where is he standing right now? Like, I know he's an independent.
He refuses.
Is AMO, Roma, Phenom, as they, you know, gonna trespass them, or are they gonna, you know what I mean? Like, where we stand with this? Cause I don't want to vote on something here or without, if maybe there's proceedings here, maybe he's got a lawyer and he's gonna, you know, he's got a defense. I don't know. So I'm just asking, like, where do we stand on this? If I don't.
Right, from the news articles, he has said that he's been given legal advice to accept the investigation from the private or the independent investigator. And he's asking people to just move on. He's going to go and go forth with the next election as an independent.
Okay, so this is not a criminal matter. It's not a civil matter. This is political.
Right.
Okay.
The Now Caucus represents the women that are members of councils in Northern Ontario, mayors and council members. And so Deputy Mayor is an active member as well, or active participates, represents East Ferris on this particular caucus. And so we can, are there any further questions or comments?
Well, I'm just making a comment. I'm looking at your move by somebody from Phenom Nova. Like, where is this coming from?
So this Northern Ontario Women's Caucus was formed by women. So basically, it's an arm of AMO in that respect, or
I think it's independent.
Independent.
Yeah.
And so basically, it represents the women that are mayors and members of council in Northern Ontario. And so And we have participated in this caucus from the very beginning as East Paris. And so basically it's the members from that caucus and they've held meetings at AMO. That's why maybe I associated with it. And so basically it represents municipalities.
You had mentioned there's other municipalities that put a motion forward. Where are these motions? I'm gonna get a copy.
Pardon me?
Why didn't we not get a copy from these motions from other municipalities?
From the Now caucus, it just went out just before Christmas. So it hasn't gone to other councils. I've had a recognition from Phenom that they've received it. And I've had recognition from one other council that had a meeting before Christmas.
So this is you that's doing.
I know.
Well, it's from I am the secretary of the Now caucus. So I'm the one that put it out, but I'm not a voting member of the executive.
Yeah, it's fine, because I just told Terry, because he's on Phenom, he had like this first of what this is all about, so.
Right. So Melanie Burrill is the regional chair, vice chair, and she represents the Phenom region
On now.
on the Northern Ontario.
She's not a member of FNOM.
She's not a member of Phenom. But it's like if I were on there, I could be the Phenom region, right? And then there's a Noma region, right? So Lindsay Cock is part of the Noma region because she's up in Kenora.
They basically divvied up Northern Ontario and said, this is a Phenom region, a Noma region, a this region, of that. And then they've selected one from every region to say they're the regional vice chair to represent that area. But they're not on Phenom board or Noma boards.
So they're members of council. From
Yes.
different, yes, right. Wait, Councilor Kelly?
Is this person up on? Is he being charged?
Criminally, and I haven't had any reports about that.
I don't want to vote, if this is a criminal matter. I want to know, like, I don't know why we would vote on something unless if someone's charged and they go to court or they don't go to court, either plead guilty or innocent, but for someone just saying, oh, this person's been accused,
Well, I guess.
I'm against all kinds of harassment. Make no mistake, I think everyone around the table is on the same page. But if it's not proven in court, or if someone hasn't said, yes, I did it, I would not want to vote on it. That's my own opinion. Thank you.
You Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, so I guess when I look at this, because I thought about that too, right? It's kind of like, is this a criminal matter? That is something that goes on. This is the person who has put forward the complaint can do that. But this independent investigator is kind of like an integrity commissioner. And so if we have an integrity commissioner report, we take that seriously. The NDP riding, the Manitoba-Algoma region, the Marriott Stiles and her caucus have taken the information from this independent investigator who is, I would sort of liken them to an integrity commissioner as serious, and this person has substantiated all the evidence from voicemail, from emails, and from personal from evidence. So.
Yeah, but tread lightly on that. So if we sit there as a group or as council and say, support this letter, and there's actually a civil matter that's going forward, we don't know that, you don't know that. NDP caucus doesn't know that right now, but it stays in the, you know what I mean? Are we gonna be penciled in on this? Because we put a support and we don't have the true facts and issues with regard to it. I kind of tread lightly here, that's all.
My impressions are that we don't have support to bring this resolution forward from, I gather, from the discussion, but we will table it. And would you like for us to table it and we'll vote on the matter?
Sure.
Yeah,
Can I make a suggestion? Like Rome one's coming up. These letters have been sent out. I'm sure if anybody else from the ministry or the premier's office we'll respond to it. We not wait till that point.
Yeah.
And then if they do the recommendation, I don't mind doing it. I just hate to be the one out of the box, somebody's gonna say, hey, what reason or what rationale are you voting for this? And I'm gonna go, well, because of Deputy Mayor said it was a good idea. Nothing personal, but I won't have the answer. I said, well, I thought it was a great idea. And without going back, that's just me again.
You make
I would
it defer.
wait
That's.
till the next meeting. And then
Maybe get more information.
more information and then if there's more people like getting on board, then I don't mind.
And
Fair enough.
I apologize, Council Kelly, you were going to say
No, that's fine. No, but I was just gonna make a comment, and once again, and nothing personal, but you're either an integrity commissioner or you're not. There's somebody like one. This is an independent investigator. I have no idea who he or she is, what their qualifications are. And anyway, I agree with Councilor Champagne. I think we put it on the back burner and wait till the council. Conference. Oh, not the back burner.
Yeah,
we will seek to understand better. I mean, I certainly have followed it in the news and, but I think it's worthwhile in terms of whether or not it's our place to, I think that's the question, our place to seek a resolution of support. Yeah. Okay, any other items?
We don't have to say this.
Maybe.
No.
We didn't table it.
No.
There's been
Okay.
difference.
Okay, good.
Well, it's great if you can, but I'm just didn't want to.
It's fine. Deferring is good.
Any other items? Okay. Councilor Kelly?
I've got
That was.
and it's there again, once again, it gets back to the provincial government, their mandate. And I find that over the years, like legislation hasn't kept up with technological change. So I think the needs of children's age probably 20, 25 years ago might not reflect the needs now and the various members of society that it causes them. And I know nothing about the area, but I think it's time to look at the mandate, look at how effective it's been. Like to give an example, in North Bay alone, there's over 20 different agencies now working with the homeless, the opioid crisis and so forth. And they all come with a certain ceiling of bureaucracy and wages and so forth, and up goes the cost. And there's been no discernible change in the climate. So I think more and more, I'm looking at a generalization. We could have one or two, three major agencies for each problem, children's aid being one, obviously, because there's a very great need, not only in the regular communities, but also in the First Nation communities. So I think to review the mandate, I like the tone of the letter saying, let's review the mandate and make sure you're addressing what should be addressed. But that's not at our level, but it's just a phenomenon because we see it in the north. I think it's more obvious in the north because of the distance between homes, quite frankly. I mean, anyone traveling north, you see a disparity in the quality of life as we drive down the road. So where in the city it's not so evident, it's their neighborhoods.
Deputy Mayor, this was also one you wanted to raise. Yes, you have comment.
Yeah, so I think, when they came and presented to us, they were talking about the lack of homes up here. That young children are being sent down south because they can't find homes up here. And it is, so it's kind of like the childcare issue is that we can maybe fund it as much as possible, but they also need to have people's, we need to have RCE or our ECEs,
Yes.
for the childcare. So I can't speak tonight. So anyways. Yeah, we need workers in the childcare centers, right? And we need, more homes in this. And maybe if there is more funding, there's more education, there's more, then, we can keep our children close to home, right? And so I think that's important.
And to the point as well, streamlining organizations so that, we can't fund everything, right? But certainly this one is critical and it plays an important role.
It's amazing how the world turns. All this started like 15 years ago, and we had no land. Now we have land, we're building all kinds of houses, then the other problems come along.
Right.
The reason we're building more houses because we want to keep our kids here, want to keep our relatives here. Now we're keeping them here, but now they need a place to grow.
Yes.
And that's the next step that we gotta work on.
So we're good to move forward with the resolution on this?
Now we move right to second vote. Councillor Kelly, Councillor. That the Council of the Municipality of East Ferris is in support of the letter received from Phenom calling on the Government of Ontario to immediately address the funding shortfall in child welfare by providing emergency stabilization funding to children's aid societies. And that the Municipality of East Ferris requests that the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services undertake a province-wide service review, including the funding model. And further, that this resolution be forwarded to the Honorable Michael Parza, Minister of Children, Community and Social Services, the Ontario Association of Children's Aid Societies, the Association of Native Child and Family Services Ontario, and the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, and the Rural Ontario Municipal Association, which is ROMA.
All in favor? C'est bon, carried. Thank you so much. Wait, was there anything else? Councillor Plant?
Thanks.
Okay. Councillor Champagne?
I've got a impact.
Wait,
We're talking about increases. Now, we talked about this before, getting someone from back over and do a delegation to us. Exactly what's happening, how long down the road this is gonna change.
yeah, okay, gotcha.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, but I believe we had talked about this, right? Well, because they're unsure when the increase is gonna happen or unsure when, because now they're talking 2027.
Well, this increase here is to our budget for 2025 and it's the levy we get every year. So that's what the increase is, about $2,200 over last year's budget.
Yeah.
This doesn't speak to the assessment cycle.
That's the, yeah.
We had a delegation.
Yep.
I'm trying to think when.
This year.
It was
Or
this
sorry,
year.
last year.
Yeah.
I mean, this term, September, October.
It was the end.
Was it fall?
Yep.
Yes, I recall.
Yep.
I
Soon.
don't remember when.
That's why I assume, yeah.
That was by Zoom way.
Because they don't, the dates are unsure. Now they're talking 27, they might be talking 28, so.
The issue is bring anybody you want to do a delegation. If the Ministry of Finance hasn't said this is when your assessment cycle is not gonna be able to tell you anything different than what they're being told, right? That's who they fall under.
The way it's talking, they've been election in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I know.
So that means they should have a 4-year mandate to know exactly what's going on, so.
But when she presented, there was nothing really new than what we already knew already. She wasn't giving us any new advice or new information of what's gonna happen in the next few years, you know.
And I could tell you it's not for 2025 because the assessment, the roll book for the new year is due to us like the first week of December. It's like we receive it. Like we've got our assessments all for 2025. They haven't changed since last year, except if somebody did a new build, like where there was an added assessment. But so it's not happening in 2020. And I would say, you know, they got a lot of properties to assess. So if they were actually looking to do an assessment in 2025 for 2026, they would have had to start by now.
I was talking to Chris on the weekend.
Yeah.
But we got, in fact, we'll be able to speak to them anyway, because they'll. Chris,
Yeah.
I was talking about, I said, you have somebody come and talk to us that actually knows what they're talking. Give kind of a feeling of what's happening, what the impact, the feeling is of the day. He said, sure, I can come up. But I'm just saying. I remember you talking to the lady, but that's just kind of.
Yeah.
Reading off what you.
What kind of information are you looking for though? Because it doesn't matter if we're being Chris or the president impact. They don't know because they haven't been directed yet from the ministry.
What I get from other
Assessment.
assessments, they're saying, what's gonna happen? We're gonna have a big jump.
Nobody knows.
Exactly, so.
But that's what I'm saying is it doesn't matter who you call from impact, they don't know. Unless we have the Ministry of Finance, like they're the ones that give the direction to impact because, you know, impact's a crown agency underneath the Ministry of Finance. So like if they knew, we'd be getting the information, right? That the assessment cycle's coming.
So I heard they were gonna be capped. You know, like, they're gonna be capped, you know what I mean? So there's gonna be a cap. They just can't arbitrarily say, boom, here's your increase. Well, everybody's gonna be vacating.
Well, our assessment, so our bill rate will change to accommodate.
Yeah,
That's what happens.
Right, but
Yeah.
you gotta let them lead you too, right? To do that. So that's why I heard through the government that they're gonna be capped. to play catch up, but. Anyway, I agree with what you're saying, also Chappie too.
Yeah,
There's,
and it's tough to say because right now when you do a reassessment, any increases are phased in over 4 years, 25%, 25. So I mean, that's capping in weight.
yeah,
If you get a decrease, it's all realized 100% the first year. You don't phase in a decrease, you only phase in increases. So, you know, if it comes forward, this is the thing, before if you had $100,000 increase, well, it's 25,000 a year. When you look at assessment values today, going from 400,000 to maybe 700,000, well, your 25% is a lot bigger than $25,000, right? But if across the board, we realize property values in these fairs go up 10% and everybody goes up 10%, all we're doing is reducing our tax rate. We're not taking any more than what we need to run the municipality.
But a lot of people still do houses, they turn around and say, my assessment should be based on 2016. Not because it's a new house, would you sell it for that? And they said, no, but that's not what they're telling you. Our assessment is based on 2016. So it's a joke right now.
And we need to monitor closely, and if we need to invite someone to come back, and we want to have it in person, what we're saying also, Councillor Champagne, right? So we'll follow that closely then, and
Yeah, there's a North Bay office.
yes, exactly. And
So I'm not sure how many people are gonna travel from Toronto to come to it in person. Would likely be Zoom. But there is municipal representatives like that take care of municipal and stakeholder relations. That's who we
Yes,
deal with.
what we like.
But there's been no indication of when that's happening, right? So.
Okay, very good discussion. Okay, so I think that concludes. I know we didn't touch on the Ontario Provincial Police billing statement, but we're very happy with what's occurred from a provincial perspective with maintaining somewhat the rates as they were in the past, or the bill somewhat. But I do know that our CEO will be participating in a further conference called on this matter, and he would like to know about the future, what the future will hold. We had requested a delegation for AMO. Maybe this is the spot here, not AMO, for Roma. We had requested a delegation with the Solicitor General on this matter, and our request has not yet been denied. So our CEO was thinking of going back to them tomorrow and saying, we basically, our current issue has been resolved, but we're concerned about our future issue. If you have any relevant information on this point, we would certainly welcome the opportunity to meet with you and discuss what you're anticipating for future bills. So did you want to expand on that, or are you comfortable with it?
No, that's pretty much what it is. Just for council's information, we had OPP billing webinars that were planned prior to the new before Christmas. And then they got canceled because of all the increases. That's what's been rescheduled. So tomorrow I'm in the OPP billing model or billing statement webinar. That's where you can ask any questions. So I'm going to try to see what the plan is for 2026 because we were subsidized basically this year about $101,000. But what does that mean for next year? Are we subsidized again? Like eventually that catches up, right? I have a feeling the OPP is going to say, well, these are what our costs are. The subsidization came from the Solicitor General's office. So that's why what Mayor Rochford was saying is we asked for a delegation to Solicitor General. They came back and said he's not available, but we can have you have a delegation with staff. The only question I really have, and it's probably what question council has, is what happens in 2026? So if they're able to provide that information by email, I don't see the need for the delegation because at first we put the delegation forward. It's because we had high increases, almost 121,000, but then afterwards we got the decrease. So at first thought was let's cancel the delegation, but we could go forward to ask the one question, but I'm not sure it's worthy of a delegation if they can give us the information by email. That's the answer there.
So stay tuned. But for those, pardon me, yes? So for those that are at Roma, stay tuned. We might have a delegation on Tuesday morning, I believe it is, eh? Yes, anyway, yes. Well, it finishes at noon on Tuesday.
I believe it's Monday.
Okay.
Is what they were proposing.
Okay, so.
Yeah, the question like when I was in discussion with a couple other people in other municipalities, is they're going forward and asking, you know, is OPB going to constantly have double-digit increases? Because we can't sustain that.
No.
Right? So that was the question that was passed around.
So for that one, they're actually suggesting a meeting with staff on the Sunday at about 4:50 at night.
Okay.
Is what they're suggesting.
Well, I mean, I think that could work, right? I believe everyone's coming in on this, you're there on the Sunday, I believe. Is that correct? I think you're all there on Sunday, from what I understand.
there, I think, or Saturday.
Yeah, we're all there. So if it does come through, would
Yeah.
that be all right with everyone? 10 minutes to.
Is the idea though that if I get an answer to that 2026
We
question?
cancel it.
Okay,
But if we don't, we go forth. I think it's a good question to ask
okay.
and to show our interest in the matter. Yeah. Would that be all right? Everyone? Yes? Okay, so on that note, I think we finished with everything that's on the, I did want just to touch, we do have the resolution from the council, right? Do we have from the winter carnival? Sorry.
Yes, we just need to approve the correspondence first.
Okay, yeah, oh, yes, exactly, jumped ahead. Okay, thank you. You proceed.
And a seconder for the correspondence, please. Deputy Mayor Royackers and Councilor Kelly. That council approved the correspondence and information as circulated with the agenda of January 14th, 2025.
All in favor? C'est bon, carried. Thank you so much. And we move on to memberships. So the municipality, we participate in various organizations and there are membership fees that go along with that. And so basically we are approving these fees for 2025. To get there.
On the agenda is just a list of them.
Yeah.
Because some of them we don't receive later in the year. So that they will vary in like there'll probably be slight increase. Some of them are the same price as last year. But those are existing memberships.
I was going to ask.
Dependent. Or I do it myself.
They've not set a fee structure yet, no. Anyway, if they do, we'll come forward, we'll get correspondence to that effect.
Yeah, I just paid for it myself.
So, oh, that's fine.
That shouldn't go in.
No, I think this is an organization that is formalized. I think it should be, we should include it and your fee should be covered. I think it's a good point you make, yes.
Yeah.
No, then, wait, and what is?
Any time they spend there, like, per diems and so forth. It's like attending any of the conferences or meetings and so forth. I think it should be covered for travel. That's just my opinion, but I mean, everything else is covered. Okay. At one time, we had members of Phenomenal, Roma, and AMO on our council. 3 out of 5 people were on provincial and it was on a federal board as well. So, we always batted way above our weight, quite frankly. And we continue to do so. And so that's input from our small community. And you can make a difference for province in the northern provinces, definitely. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Hi, congratulations. I don't think we knew that you had
No, I did not.
assumed the position of secretary for that organization, so well done. So that's the Northern Ontario Women's Caucus that we would add to our list. And so a resolution in support of.
Will bring a seconder, please.
Sure.
Councilor Champagne and Councilor. The council approved the 2025 membership list as amended to include the Northern Ontario Women's Caucus and presented at the regular meeting of council held January 14th, 2025.
All in favor? They don't carry. And again, congratulations to all the members of the municipality that are active in these organizations that do great work on behalf of our citizens and all of the citizens of Ontario. So that's well done. The resolution for the East Ferris Carnival.
I move in a seconder, please. Councilor Trahan, Councilor Champagne. The council for the municipality of East Ferris has no objection to the East Ferris Carnival Committee hosting the 2025 Winter Carnival from February 13th to February 16th, 2025. And further, that council declares this a community festival and has no objections to the applications for appropriate licenses.
I do want to mention that the Carnival Committee this year is looking at the snow sculpting competition. We had discussed it last year, and we had said, council, that it's good to have these kinds of community events. And so as part of this snow sculpting competition, we would do an official sculpture here in front of our municipal office, and we would do an official sculpture in front and this would be done by volunteers, in front of the East Ferris Community Center. So one in each community that just signals, the carnival.
We have snow this year.
That's the big question. That's why it's nice to know that it's gonna snow till 2 o'clock and then resume at 3 o'clock this morning.
Start collecting it from the Zampoini.
Read, Councillor Stan?
That's great to hear. Who's sitting on the committee?
It still is the same people. They've not, it remains, Mr. Point and, basically, as well, Cassidy Bessette, Guy Cloutier, Guy, Brochu, is that his first name?
Patrick?
Patrick Brochu, and,
Baker.
no, she's left now. So it's basically that particular group, they're still together. They have the support of the Compagnons des Femmes Moisies. They've been working, had background support from them. Myself, I'm involved indirectly, but, so the snow sculpting is going to be Doug Howe, people like that. So various people from the community.
We will have fireworks.
We will.
Will's taking care of it.
I want to bring up, I can talk to Jason about this and also. I got the rules of Hockeyville. And we do qualify in a way, and we talked about the elevator and we're looking for a grant opportunity, not a grant, it's, you win $50,000.
Right.
So the rules are pretty simple. It's, community are invited to submit their nomination. The application form is also required for a short essay, photographs and video depicting the community, hometown pride and passion of the game of hockey. Judging panel then select 4 finalists and the winner is determined by the public vote.
Go ahead.
So as long as you got something that you, for the arena, and I think that, you know, opportunity, especially during carnival time, a lot of the seniors can't get up there. They can have perfect time to start taking pictures and taking video or a hockey tournament, family tournament, saying, here, we want to update our elevator so the seniors can get up there and actually watch the games and during hockey games during because seniors can't get up to the
No,
bleachers.
it's a big problem. Yeah,
So you get your blessing, I'm gonna go and start process.
Councillor Champagne, you have, I would say, everyone would, it's because last year, myself as well, I did the background on that. I felt that we should have applied, and I mean, well, they got it for the arena, and so I think it's a, and if it's, even if we're not successful, it builds community pride. It gets, you build a base, we'll have photographs and
When does the application open?
I think it has
It
to,
opens this week and it has to be done by.
so on.
Good idea.
So, wait, go ahead. I don't think we need a resolution for that. I think we are basically giving our blessings to Councillor Champagne and, or do we want a resolution to that? Do you want a resolution, Councillor Champagne? The council supports your initiatives in trying to seek the Craftsville, okay, all right? Yeah.
So the steps of, like, 'cause years ago, North Bay did the crowd. You're right, so it was quite intense, so I don't know if it's changed or.
But it is, it's, you gotta do this, you gotta be public involved, you gotta, it's basically a social media. The more people involved, the more you click, the more people want part of this, that's how it works.
Know how it works.
It's governed by the municipality, different by the residents.
So if he would do the work, he would undertake the work, it's significant.
To go back to the carnival thing here, the carnival opening, is that gonna be the 13th or the 14th?
The 14th, yeah. The 13th is the official night that it starts and there's a program, but the official opening is always on the 14th.
14th?
No, okay.
Exactly, it's a nice thing.
It also gives you a game to September 16th, and then shell game too. At the same time.
Yes, if you're a winner, you pay.
Finals.
We'll be, I call her Madam Clerk. She's just putting together the resolution and we'll vote on that in a moment. We, Deputy Mayor?
Well, if you're going for the craft hockey thing, you really want to make sure that have a public event where you're really getting support, because
Carnival is coming, that's why.
that's it. It's a great time. It might be that we pass out flyers or have something like that so that people are aware, because
Well, you look at the law, I'll send it out to council, if anybody's got the input or wants,
Yeah, we'll just, keep going, we'll keep going. What's the time on the 14th?
I don't think it's been set yet, but typically it's at 6 o'clock in the past, yes.
It's not in the calendar?
I know exactly, I hear you. Right. And I think the fireworks are on Saturday night, although they've not confirmed that either, so we're still.
Correct, yeah.
I heard someone suggest Friday night for the fireworks, that's why I'm wondering.
I've not heard a confirmed date.
No, we've not heard a confirmed date yet.
What I've done so far is spoke to Will Ball and we were looking, he wanted to know what the budget was for the fireworks. My question was, have they gone up significantly in price over last year? Because we did see one year where if you didn't buy your fireworks now, they were going up to say 15-20%. Because you got to watch that. If you're used to a 15-minute show, if the cost goes up and you've got to buy with the same budget, you're reducing your show to 8 minutes, whatever it is, right? So we kind of try to keep up with a bit of an increase.
Did the A program show.
Yeah,
30 minutes, so.
it's kind of hard to go backwards.
Yeah. But on the other hand too, it's, yeah, we gotta stick to the budget on that too, or whatever. You know what I mean? So there's gotta.
Okay,
Okay, did you want to have a quick peek at it before I take it?
wait,
Okay, move her into seconder, please. So Trahan and Councillor Kelly. That the Council for the Municipality of East Ferris supports Councillor Champagne's initiative in the nomination and application process for Craft Hockeyville. And further, that Council agrees to advertise this application and seek public support at Winter Carnival 2025.
we have, it's okay, all in favor? Very good, thank you so much. And thank you, Councillor Champagne, for taking that on, as Councillor Dan mentioned, and Deputy Mayor Riagers mentioned, there is a lot of work. But with you at the helm, we are confident that we will give it a good shot. So good, well done.
nominations close March 2nd.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, okay.
I don't think we carried this one. I think Councillor Champagne
Oh,
was
yes,
thinking about
yeah,
Hockeyville,
yeah,
so we'll
yeah.
have to carry this one again.
Thank you.
So that Council for the Municipality of East Ferris has no objection to the East Ferris Carnival Committee hosting the 2025 Winter Carnival from February 13th to 16th, 2025. And further, that Council declares this a community festival and has no objections to the applications for the appropriate licenses.
All in favor? You have a question before we vote, sorry?
Yes. I just wanna ask one thing. And I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but I just wanna get it out here. Is all the paperwork, appropriate paperwork's been signed off? And that if there's any issues, we are protected.
Yeah, so what this allows them to do is I believe they need the letter for the liquor license to start off with, so that's what that letter is.
Yep.
And then as part of the rental agreement, they've got to provide us their insurance certificate and all the background as per our rental facility policy.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, so before anybody can actually get into the facility and utilize it, the document's got to be in order.
Okay, super.
And this also for the banks as well, for the bank.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all in favor? The bond carried, thank you so much. And thank you to those that are volunteering for this event. It's really great. Approval of accounts payable.
Move her in a seconder, please. Mayor Riagers. Councillor Trahan. The Council approved the general accounts for the Municipality of East Ferris as indicated in the 2025 in the amount of $1,030,688.95.
In favor, the bond carried, thank you. Other business, we did, we go ahead, Councillor Kelly. Well, we were just gonna touch on our delegations, although we have indirectly touched on them, but just to confirm, but why don't you go ahead first?
Oh, I've got two things, please.
Just a delegation. So we basically have a delegation with the municipality will be participating in the Ministry of Health delegation. And tomorrow there's a teleconference to organize that delegation. It will be on the Monday morning. We don't yet have all the details, but we will circulate that to council once that's finalized. It's being worked through and I should maybe let the.
It's at 1:15 on Monday. So So delegation basically from the health unit in our district is gonna be actually underfunded. And it's gonna come back on us, you know, the 1% increase is all they're allowing for the next 3 years. We got Noma, we got Oma and Noma. Union negotiation coming up, and we know that's not gonna sit at 1%. So we have a shortfall unless we just start dipping in the reserves, and that doesn't help. So again, we're gonna Dr. Zimbalati's get stuff ready for tomorrow. And then I will have an idea, we'll talk about, we only got 10 minutes in the city of North Bay, also have a delegation, and they're gonna talk about 2 items of their own, but they're also gonna bring up the health unit. The delegation.
Okay, so we're still keeping the delegations separate.
Yeah.
It's a good, their delegation is with the minister.
Yep.
Ours is with the parliamentary assistant.
Mhm.
And in a sense, it's a good thing the more people we can alert and inform of our concerns, the better it is. And, so tomorrow we will be planning that presentation. And so, Councillor Trahan, we will have the details by email, probably in the days to come, for that delegation, which will be on a Monday. Ours is in the morning, with for Ministry of Health, I do believe.
I'll circulate the information
Okay.
tomorrow. We
Yeah.
were kind of I was waiting to find out from the health unit if there was gonna be a combined one or not. And then we've gone with the Ministry of Infrastructure about sustainable, permanent, predictable road funding. Was one that was put forward by council, so we've still got to do a presentation on that. That was on the Monday. And then the one we're somewhat waiting for Solicitor General. If we get the answer for 2026, we'll cancel that one. So this time we have 2 definitely, possibly the 3rd.
Whatever is 115, the health unit.
That's the one from the city of North Bay, I believe. Ours is in the morning with, I'm not sure entirely.
It's like the one I got from Jason.
Oh, okay, then maybe, yes, okay, perfect then, Councillor Champagne, we're okay then.
Okay, so our delegation. We are Monday, January 20th from 1:15 to 1:30. So that's the one for the Ministry of Health. And Solicitor General. And then the one for the Ministry of Infrastructure would be Monday, the 20th as well, but it's at 10:05 in the morning until 10:20. I've got the room information. I'll circulate that. Mayor Rochford and myself spoke about the delegation today. I'm going to prepare one for the Ministry of Infrastructure. And then I'll guess we'll see after tomorrow's meeting what's going to be presented for the health.
Okay. Councillor Kelly.
Yes, just 2 things. I'll try to be quick. The fitness center is going through some major renovations. We're donating a new computer to the library. They do keep our membership up to date and they can use it for other purposes as well. That'll be new. We've got new cameras installed. They're 180 degree and high definition, just security. We've got new equipment coming and we've got a new sign coming for the outside. So just giving council an update of what's going on. The second thing I've got is concerning the deputy mayor and congratulations. I'm always looking at ways to enhance our communications with the general public. And I find that, I don't know what app you've got, Lauren, but it's like whatever the municipality puts out, they're under your headline at the same time. It's like piggybacking on. And I think it's important, and I think it should be important for all of council to do the same thing on Facebook, simply because some people would look at the municipality, so I don't want, I'm not interested in that, but they look at your byline and it's the same announcement. So I think if we all had it, people wouldn't have to go to just the municipality. They could go to an individual councillor and find the same information. I will leave it up to staff, but if we can do that, that would enhance communications and transparency, which we're always all about. And it is a team concept, including announcements from the library, because that's one of the centers for communication and there's lots going on there. So I think it's a good idea. I don't know what other councillors think.
What triggered that on?
Well, I've been watching, I'm not on Facebook, but I follow Facebook. And I've noticed that Warren, there's comments from the municipality like East Ferris. And then it'll be under the same byline, but it'll be Lauren Ruyacker, and it'll be the same announcement. Okay, and there's also East Ferris Library, and then Warren's on that. So there's a lot of communications going on, but I think it could be enhanced communication with all of council doing the same thing.
Councilor Pelley, it's a very good point you made. I myself personally, I think you're pointing to the fact that Deputy Mayor Ruyacker, she follows a lot of the organizations in our community, and as well artisans and businesses, and then she shares the information.
Yes.
Example.
Exactly.
And so it broadens the delivery of the, how do you call the reach, I guess.
Reach.
I don't know if you want to make a comment?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
And I think we all had a byline and just the same thing. And then, so if somebody misses something, it'll be on somebody else's, on their Facebook.
Yeah. Did you want to?
Well, I think you do the same thing. And I know that Councillor Chan does it that as well, right? Is that we're all sharing that
Yeah.
stuff. So
But I think we would give you the gold star. I think that's what. I'd say you are, you have, I compare.
Yeah, just for clarity as well, it's not an app or it's no involvement with the municipality. So when we put something on social media or the library does or whatever group. The Deputy Mayor follows those groups and she sees that and she reshares it personally on her own social media sites.
Okay.
So if you wanted to do the same thing, you would have to have a Facebook page and whatever Twitter page, whatever you want to have. And you have to follow the library, the town, East Ferris Post-it, whatever groups, and then you share out the town's information as well, municipalities. So that's what the deputy mayor is doing and other council members.
Just thinking it enhances communication.
So the citizens really appreciate it because some of them are not, they don't go look at the municipal website and they're not unaware. So it really helps. And I think it would be good like to broaden both municipalities. We talked about the library. They do excellent work. And if we could increase their reach, so.
Exactly. Okay.
So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And both, and I'm a big fan of the East Ferris Fitness Center. Like my husband, Mike loves it. He's just, but are we not supposed to tell the clerk that we want to put other business on the agenda?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Like
I know, thank you.
I'm thinking about procedure because we just passed a procedure. So it's kind of like, I'm just asking the question. So I appreciate all the other information, but I was just wondering about that.
You're absolutely correct, and we should try to be careful not to put items under other business. I went and put the delegations under other business because I didn't know where to put them, and I thought, but so that's.
Sure, where to put it too.
And the fitness center would fit very well under announcements, like it would have been, it's a great item to have included there. And even comments like, and while we're at it, we're just, myself as well, I think we should look at encouraging people in our community that are doing great social media that enhances our community. And I was thinking as part of our volunteer awards to maybe look at that and include that item. But you are absolutely correct. Procedural bylaw, as much as possible, we try to avoid adding items under other business. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And it's getting late, and so we move. Thank you very much. We move forward with in camera.
Move in a second, please.
Sure.
Councilor Kelly and Councilor Champagne, that this meeting proceeds in camera session at 6:46 p.m. Under section 239-2 of the Municipal Act 2001, SC 2001, Chapter 15, in order to address the matter pertaining to D, labor relations or employee negotiations regarding a staff performance review.
All in favor? Well, carried.